Hello lovies, it's Stacy James with Just Spooling Around, and I'm just going to do a quick impromptu video because someone asked for it, and this one doesn't take long, so I'm not going to edit or anything like that. It's just all raw and unedited. So if I mess up, you're going to see it. If I mess up, you're going to hear it, right? Okay, anyway, so we're going to make this cute little handbag. I'm not quite sure how much it takes. I don't remember because I didn't mark it down. But I have a 7.3 ounce ball of yarn here. I'm just gonna do it in one color. You can see obviously this is in 3 colors, and of course, you can do as many colors as you'd like. For the 3, I did, let's see, it looks like I did the foundation chain in the color A, and then I did 3 rows, and then I did, let's see, looks like I did 2 rows in the color B, and then I did 2 rows in the color C, and then of course the bind off is up there as well. Okay, so let me just make sure that's what I did. 1, 2, 3. Nope, it's 3, 2, and 1, 2 up there. Yes, because there are only 7 rounds in this baby, and there are 31 stitches in the cute little strap. Okay, it is not closed. I didn't sew it, button it, nothing like that. So get creative if you feel like it, but it's really good for little kids. My niece and my grandbabies love it. They're always carrying theirs around. So let's get started. We're going to need probably a 1/4 of this. I don't even know, but I can weigh it when we're done. This is just, 7 ounces of yarn. As long as you have that, you're good. We'll need a scissors. We'll need fray block for sealing the ends, a crochet hook and thread for sewing at the end for finishing work. Of course, you can use a lighter if you want to seal, and I actually burn to make the connections on my things here, but I do also a little intarsia, but I definitely burned in here. So it's not heavy, you're not lifting it up like you are blankets and stretching it out. So burning is just fine for these little bags, okay? For a joining method, in my opinion, of course. Okay, so let's get started with your yarn. All we're gonna do is chain 8, okay? So if you guys are familiar with any of my heart tutorials, I can't remember what else I've done this way, but we will be working in the round through both the top and bottom legs of our chains, okay? So I'm just going to have my working yarn or my tail end to the left, working yarn is to the right, and we come up about 4 inches, and we're gonna create that first loop. Of course, if you knot it, be my guest. I just don't do that. So this first chain I have 2 fingers width, and then I'm going to chain, and these I have 3, okay? So 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8th one I make a bit smaller, right? 2 stitches or 2 fingers in width. Okay, so I'm not gonna turn this around, okay? because I'm not gonna work through the bottom. And here you can tell because we don't have a pretty braid on the bottom. If I were to work through the humps in the back, we'd have a braid down here, but I don't want that braid down here on the bottom, okay? So what I do instead is I'm going to knit through the top legs of every stitch, and yes, even that last chain, okay? So we're going to knit 8 on the top. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to turn it around and we're going to knit through each of the bottom legs as well. And that will be round 1, okay? So let's get started. And I do, you know, I'm still a stickler about slack because we don't want their little stuff to fall through here, right? So we do have to really kind of, I'm gonna just show you here what I mean. So this, you can see, is longer. Here is the bottom right here. And it just kind of rounds up and bows out, okay? Because of how I work the bind off stitch. But you can see here that this is longer than the actual chain, okay? So that is why, that's the reason why, because I cinch these up so that there's no slack in between the stitches, okay? So that's something that you'll want to watch for when you make these, because again, you don't want their little things falling through hole. You don't want it like stretching and having these big holes. So we're just like using the tip of our thumb here for sizing, and we're really scrunching that in. Remember, it's just gonna scrunch up here because I'm not doing it through the back loop like I do with like a blanket. So you're not gonna have a curling effect, especially when we're working in the round. You will, however, have a curling effect like I showed you. Here, because as you start to knit up, it rounds out down here, okay? All right, so now we're gonna turn it. That was 8. Sorry, I feel like I'm kind of going all over the place. And now we're gonna just kind of come up and over that tail end with the working yarn. And now we're gonna go into the bottom legs here. You can see them right there, okay? So we'll do 1. Again, just tip of the finger. 2, really make sure your slack is minimal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So we have our 8 stitches, okay? And we're going to turn it around, and that is the end of round 1. And now we're going to begin round 2. And this is so simple, you guys. I'm telling you, all we're gonna do is knit around 8 stitches for 7 rows, okay? So we have 1 row done. So now all we're gonna do is knit all the way around, and again I'm coming up to about full thumb snug, okay? Full thumb snug. It's not too easy to get out, okay? So there we go. There's 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to kind of turn it here. We want the knit side out. That's 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you need a stitch marker, go ahead and use one, not a problem. So 16 stitches in the round. Now for round 3, we really want to make sure we put these corners together at the, you know, along the edges of the sides here. So this is round 3. Okay, we just finished round 3. Kind of see how it's taking shape. Now I do want to do something before I go any further here. So we're going to be on round 4, okay? But I'm coming here to the tail end, and I'm just going to kind of give it a little weave in and out, because as you can see, when you do this, it does kind of stretch apart there. Not too bad, because we made our chains small enough, so it's not a huge deal. But I do like to just weave this in, and I'm not going to take too much time on this because, well, maybe I'm not. If I could find, there we go. If I can find one to go into, I'm just going to go from one side to the next, okay? And then I'm going to come up here to this leg and come here. And I'm going to come to this other side, the bottom leg. If I can find it, there it is. Come here. So what I'm doing is just, you know, weaving it from top to the next bottom to the next top to the next bottom, right? Okay. And that's all I'm gonna do. And I am gonna finish this off. So I'm just going to cut that. And here I'm going to do my little fray block to seal that end. Oops, I'll pick that up later. And then I'm just going to grab my 2 pieces of yarn, or thread, sorry, 2 pieces of thread and my crochet hook, and I'm just going to attach it here right to this stitch real quick. And I'm gonna tie it 1, 2, 3. I just did a video on how to sew for your finishing work. 1, 2, wrap it around twice, and you wrap it around one more time. If you haven't seen it and you'd like to, go ahead and do so at your leisure. All right, so now this one is close enough to here, so I'm just gonna come, let's see, probably right here. And this one I want to bring up and around, and I'm gonna do the three wrapping again. There's 3. Okay, now I want to bring this up to the end about 1/4 of an inch, leaving about 1/4 of an inch at the end, and tie that around there using the 3 wrapping technique. Now I'm bringing this over the top to the opposite side, and I'm going to come under and I'm going to feed that yarn back to the side it came from, but I'm going over that, and I'm going to do the same with this, and I'm going to come under here and I'm going to feed it back through where it came from. And now when I kind of tighten that up, you can see it just nestles right into there. So now what I want to do is I want to come over the top again. I'm done with that, and I'm going to wrap my thread around 3 times, and I'm coming up and over that tail end across the center of the end and tightening that up. Okay, so now I'm gonna do it. I'm going to wrap the thread around twice, then I'm going to wrap it around once, and I'm done. Okay, so once you get used to that, it's very, very quick and simple. All right, so we're now on round 4. So we're going to really make sure these 2 end stitches are really tightly knitted together, no slack. So there's 1, there's 2, here's 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here are those edge or those, you know, side stitches, right? No slack. Really putting those in close. So there's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So now we're on 5. Got these 2 we want really close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We've got our ends to make sure are very close together. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now we're on round 6, and on the very edge there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get those 2 edge stitches together. There's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now we're going for the last round, which is round 7. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Get this one in real close. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now, we are going to join to the very first stitch using a slip stitch. So if you're not familiar with that, here's how you do a slip stitch. You just drop a loop like you're knitting, okay? Drop the working yarn, and then you're going to bring that loop, that previous loop, over. So you're kind of like binding the stitch off, right? But that's called a slip stitch, okay? So there we have that. And we have our stitch that we're going to work off of for the strap. So now all we're going to do is 31 chains, okay? So is that right? Yep, chain 31. So we've got 1, 2, these are very small, 3, probably 2 fingers, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 11 more. 21, 22, 3, 24, 5, 6, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Okay. So now we're going to come, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. See, I messed up. We forgot to bind off. And when I say we, I mean me. I am so sorry. I told you, unedited version, I get ahead of myself. Okay, so no slip stitch. Oh, darn it. Okay, so now we're going to bind off all of our stitches first. Okay, let's do that. Now, we are going to bind our stitches off tight. So we're not making sure that they go, you know, because we want this to kind of close in a little bit, right? So when we bind off, we're just doing like a 2-finger bind off, okay? And that makes for a tighter, it closes this up a bit and it rounds it out on the bottom, okay? So that's how the binding off, this is when it doesn't matter if you don't have any stretch here, okay? So So we want tight bound off stitches on this bind off chain. I always preach that you've got to have big enough stitches, right? Yes, not in this case. So there's always a time when you do things a bit differently to achieve a different effect, yeah? That's what I love about this craft. There's just so many ways that you can do things and interpret things, and nothing's ever right or wrong. It's just really about, you know, what you like when you're working with the yarn, what you want to do, what your, you know, goal is, and figuring out how to get it to do what you want it to do. So things that wouldn't be the best for one project are like the absolute best for a different one. So here we go. I don't even know if I'm doing, well, I guess I'm doing 2 fingers pretty tight, 2 fingers wide, but very tight. And you can see that. I can get my fingers in there, but they are like, they're really in there, okay? So these are 2 fingers tight. Okay. Well, this little bugger took more time than I expected since I messed up. Oh well, that's okay. What do you do? So here we go. Now, see, it looks like we have like a crocheted top, kind of, right? We're going to slip stitch into, oh, what do I have here? Bind up to 8 and 9 and decrease right. I don't even really need to do that because I bound off so tight, so I don't need to do that. Now we're gonna join to the first bind off chain with a slip stitch. So we're gonna go under both of those, both of these here legs from that stitch. So this is how you work the slip stitch. Again, you're drawing up a loop, and then you're just passing that previous stitch over the loop like so, okay? Okay, so that's what we have, and you can see that with our small chain bind off, we have the same effect as what I did with this pretty much. It just looks like more of a, gives it a little bit of a different slant, but it's basically the same thing. So what I did with that one is I decreased the 2 edge stitches together on both sides. Okay, so that's what I did, right? Is that what I did? Bind off up to stitch 8 and 9. Decrease right stitches 8 and 9. So that's what I did. So I have 15 stitches instead of 16 to bind off, but this works even better. It's easier, so even easier. All right, now we chain 31. Okay, so let's make that again tip of the thumb, and we're going to chain 31 now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 fingers tight, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. All right, so now we want to make sure that this is not twisted. Okay, can you see? I'm making sure that this is not twisted. All right, and I'm going to use this with a tail or with a chain facing up the way it's supposed to be. And I'm going to come to this stitch here, right up here, okay? And I am going to place my working yarn on the inside of this stitch straight across. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I decreased into this into 1 so that it would just have 1 stitch to go through, but we can go through both 8 and 9 like so, okay? And I'm going to push my working yarn through 1 leg of 9, stitch 9, and 1 leg of stitch 8, okay? And then I'm going to draw that loop through that last chain, and we're going to finish off, which means we're going to cut about a 3-inch tail, okay? And we're going to draw this all the way through, and then we're just going to bring this back where it came from, okay? So I'm taking the tail end and I'm pushing it right back through those legs that I worked through to join, okay? And you'll see there, it just slides right in there, okay? And now I am just going to turn this inside out. And I am going to cut the yarn about 2 inches. It's about 2 inches right there. Okay. I don't know, it's probably not 2 inches, but you know. All right, there we go. So we're just, you can burn that if you'd rather burn, you don't use that product. Okay, so here, what we're gonna do is we're just going to grab this very first stitch here, down here, right? Because we're gonna kind of want to come a little bit down this way. I'm gonna cut my 2 threads, my 2 strands of thread, and again I'm just gonna sew this down. That's the initial securing of that piece so that it isn't gonna go anywhere. And I'm going to wrap the thread around 3 times. So there's 2, 3, and then we're going to do that again just twice this time. Tighten that up, and then one more time before we cut. Okay, we'll cut that. Now, we're gonna just kind of work this. I'm gonna just bring this, I have kind of a longer end because I did these stitches really tiny. So I'm gonna use this to just kind of weave this in. I'm just following the path, you can see here, of my stitch as it is worked here. This is the top, and I'm gonna put it right down in here. There we go. And now what I want to do is, that's all I'm gonna do. For that, I'm going to bring my thread back through here, and I'm going to wrap the thread 3 times. It's 1, 2, and 3, and then I want to come about 1/4 of an inch from the end, like so. There you go. Okay, and now I want to cross this one on the right over the tail end and cross it over to the left side. Then I'm going to go under on the right. Oh, my phone is ringing. Oh no, that's my husband's phone. My phone is recording. And we're going to bring it back to the side it came from. Now we're going to do the same with this one. We're going to cross it over that tail end and to the opposite side, and now bring it back to where it came from. We're done with that, and now we're going to take our thread and we're going to make sure we go over the top. So there's 1, and we're going to wrap it 3 times. So there's 2 and 3, maybe. So sorry for that ringing. Okay, and we're going to bring it right over that tail end. You can see, can't even see that. So there's 1 and 2. So nice seamless way to do your finishing work, and it's extremely secure. I count on this 100% in terms of not breaking, coming unraveled, which I can't say the same for knots and burning. All right, so here we go, guys. We have our cute little purse. Okay, so there she is. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I didn't go too fast, and I hope you have fun making these, because I sure did. See you next time, lovies. Peace out.